Thingkho Le Malcha, by KSO Media and Documentation Cell, issue number 47, Saturday, 28 October, 2023. Headlines: NIA opposes bail plea of man accused of transnational conspiracy in Manipur. Attacks on tribals, Naga houses in Impal damaged, looted by miscreants. Prime Minister Modi cancels campaign trip to Mizoram, Amit Shah set to fill in. Congress, BJP strategy all over Northeast is to use regional parties to grab power. For more days police custody for Notus Barish Sharma in gunfiring case. My soil, my country, Gujarat Congress orders soil from Manipur, sends it to state BJP chief. Lack of officers is becoming a hindrance in the investigation of Manipur violence. One officer is monitoring 500 cases. Narco-terrorism, politics, extremism, pillars of systematic violence against khakis in Manipur. News and picture. From ignorance to refutation, mapping communal violence in India. KSO Education Desk. Thingkho Le Malcha. Relief Center Update. Lam Lai Chingphai Relief Center. Lam Lai Chingphai, Lungchong Maifai Subdivision, Ukhrul District. Managed by Kuki Students Organization Ukhrul District. Total inmates registered, 94. Male, 50. Female, 44. Kuki victims update as on October 16, 2023. Deaths, 146. Villages burnt, 200 plus. Houses burnt, 7,000 plus. Churches and synagogues burnt, 360. Displaced persons, 41,425. NIA opposes bail plea of man accused of transnational conspiracy in Manipur. The National Investigation Agency, NIA, has opposed the bail plea of a man accused of involving in a transnational conspiracy behind the Manipur violence. The agency submitted before additional sessions Judge Sachin Gupta that the accused Moarungathe Anand Singh had association with proscribed organizations and was arrested with sophisticated arms and ammunition along with his associates in an area affected by the ongoing strife. The accused was involved in transnational conspiracy hatched by the Myanmar-based leadership of terror outfits operationally active in the northeastern Indian states to exploit the current ethnic unrest in the state of Manipur to wage war against the government of India and execute terror attacks there by exacerbating the current situation, the agency told the court. It submitted that if the accused was released on bail, it will cause hardship to the ongoing investigation, and considering the history of the accused, there is a high probability that he will again indulge in similar activities which will exacerbate the present security situation in the state. The court will hear arguments on the application on November 8, 2023. The accused was brought to New Delhi after his arrest and produced before the Delhi court on September 23. He is currently in judicial custody. More than 180 people have been killed and several hundreds injured in ethnic violence that began in Manipur on May 3. Attacks on tribals, Naga houses in Impal damaged, looted by miscreants. In what seemed to be a deliberate attempt to push out all the tribals living in the Meitei Kanki Pak, Impal, the houses of Nagas were also attacked, damaged and looted by unknown miscreants suspected to be from the Meitei gangsters. In October 27, the Naga Welfare Association, National Games Village, Impal, has issued a statement strongly condemning the damaging and looting of Naga houses by suspected Meitei miscreants. In his press condemnation, the association's secretary, Joysun Washaneo, recounted that the residence of one Poshing in Games Village Zonai was burnt down on October 21 by unknown miscreants, even as the miscreants targeted Games Village Thingkho Church and Pastor Quarter in Zone 2 on May 4, residences of Taiganlung Rongmei and G. Chuntheling in Zone I on June 4 and killed one Lucy Maring. He stated that quarters of Nagas were looted while the residents were attending office. Locks of the quarters were broken as the housewives left to pick up their children from the school. The Meitei miscreants also threatened the Nagas staying in Games Village PWD quarters to vacate by using the name of an insurgent group. Joysun Washaneo said that all these incidents happened despite an understanding reached between the two communities not to harm each other, maintain peace and harmony, and to leave government quarters of Games Village as free zone in a joint meeting of Naga Welfare Association, Joint Coordinating Committee, UCYC Club, Local Mira Pibus held on August 3, 2023. While asserting that the Naga Welfare Association will resort to a democratic form of agitation in case of undermining the sentiments of the Nagas, he also urged the state government and leading CSOs of Manipur to take up concrete steps or action for ensuring peaceful coexistence at the earliest. The Naga Welfare Association also warned that if such acts continue, the Naga tribals will be compelled to shift along with their belongings from the National Games Village, Impal. Prime Minister Modi cancels campaign trip to Mizoram, Amit Shah set to fill in. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has cancelled his planned campaign trip to Mumbai in poll-bound Mizoram on October 30, a senior BJP leader said here on Saturday. Union Home Minister Amit Shah will fill in for Modi, but his date of campaigning is yet to be decided, state BJP media convener Johnny Lalthampwia told PTI. Lalthampwia, however, did not cite any reason for the cancellation of Modi's visit. Shah will visit Mumit in the southern part of the state, he said. Another senior BJP leader and Union Minister Nitin Gadkari is likely to campaign in the northeastern state on Monday for the November 7 assembly elections, Lalthampwia said. Earlier this week, Mizoram CM Thingkho, whose Mizo National Front, MNF, is a constituent of NDA, had announced that he would not share the stage with the PM when the latter visits the poll-bound state. Talking to TOI, Thingkho had blamed the majority Meitei community for the alleged attacks on churches in neighboring Manipur, which is governed by BJP, and said, "This is not the time to be close to BJP." Thingkho had said the people of Mizoram being Christians will have a negative impact on MNF if it worked together with BJP in view of what had happened in Manipur. The BJP is eyeing for the votes of linguistic minorities such as Chakma, Bru, Mara and Lai community people living in the southern part of the state. BJP has fielded former Mizoram Assembly Speaker Laurenleana Salo from Mumit. Salo resigned as Speaker as well as Mizo National Front legislator, and joined BJP after he was denied a ticket by the governing MNF. BJP President JP Nadda had on Friday released the party's manifesto, promising 33% reservation for women in government jobs and solution to the long-standing border dispute with Assam, among others. Congress, BJP strategy all over Northeast is to use regional parties to grab power. Congress leader Jairam Ramesh has said that the strategy of the BJP all over the Northeast is to use regional parties to grab power, which they had done in Arunachal, Meghalaya, Manipur, and now they are trying to do the same in Mizoram. Jairam was briefing the media at a press conference held in Asval on Friday. Labeling the BJP as a ghost party, Jairam said the power of the ghost over ZPM and MNF is well known to everyone as they are the gateway for BJP to enter Mizoram. Jairam said that Article 371G of the Indian Constitution, which protects the Mizo way of life, was under threat today while hitting out at the BJP in poll-bound Mizoram. Article 371G states that no act of parliament in respect to religious or social practices of the Mizos, Mizo customary law, administration of civil and criminal justice, ownership and transfer of land, shall apply to the state of Mizoram unless the Legislative Assembly of the state of Mizoram by a resolution so decides. Ramesh said that a government and a party that removed Article 370 can also remove 371G. And he informed that the article was inserted in February 1987 into the constitution when Rajiv Gandhi was the prime minister as a special provision to protect the Mizo way of life. Ramesh further said that insertion of the article is the greatest contribution of the Indian National Congress to Mizoram that is under threat today. It is only the hand of sensitivity that understands the aspirations of the Northeast, whereas the BJP is the party that wants one nation, one language, one nation, one culture, one nation, one religion, and one nation, one party, is the BJP's policy, said Jairam. Ramesh asserted that the November 7 assembly election is essentially a three-horse race involving the ruling Mizo National Front, MNF, and the opposition Congress and Mizoram People's Movement, ZPM. All three parties have fielded candidates in all 40 seats. For more days police custody for notorious Barish Sharma in gunfiring case. The Chief Judicial Magistrate, Impal West, had remanded the former BJYM president, Manohar Mayam Barish Sharma, to 4 more days of police custody, till October 30, in a case related to the Saga Road gunfiring in which 5 civilians sustained injuries. Barish Sharma was the key accused in the firing incident which took place on October 14, 2023 at Kwarakpam Laikai, Saga Road, Impal, while trying to abduct one Bobo Kadam from his residence at the locality after an intense altercation between the duo on social media platforms. Mention may be made that the former BJYM president was also allegedly one of the main accused and instigators of the ethnic cleansing pogrom against the Kukis, and was suspected to be one of the gang leaders who had burnt the Anglo-Kuki War Centenary Gate at Laisang, Lamka, on May 3, 2023. During the court proceeding, the investigating officer, through assistant public prosecutor, submitted that the police have seized 1.45 pistol along with 2 magazines and 20 live rounds and 1 unregistered Mahindra Scorpio used in the crime from the disclosure of Barish Sharma. However, Sharma didn't disclose the identities of the other accused. The IO went on to state that the police team recovered empty cases of 9mm cartridges from the spot, but the 9mm pistol in the firing hasn't been seized. While seeking 5 more days of police custody remand of Barish to identify other accused, the court, on perusal of the case record and after hearing the submission of the IO, remanded Barish Sharma to 4 more days of police custody. The other 5 accused in the case are Alex Ningombum at Golu, 26, S/O Ajit and Guramayam Rayban, 24, Secretary. BJYM Manipur Pradesh, S/O Robindro both from Brahmapur Lalja Lakpa Laikai, Nongthambam Tony Meitei, 36, Vice President of BJYM Manipur Pradesh, S/O, L. Kumar of Langthabal Lepmayai Laikai presently staying at Nungwai Maka Laikai, Ningthajam Vicky, 30, S/O and Borat of Kongba Nandiabam Laikai and Kadam Nibas, 33, S/O Lakhoi of Singjamai Wangmapabiya Pundit Laikai. My soil, my country. Gujarat Congress orders soil from Manipur, sends it to state BJP chief. The Gujarat Congress ordered soil from Manipur and sent it to state BJP President C.R. Patil for the Meri Mati Mera My Soil, My Country program in the state, sparking a controversy. At a joint press conference in Ahmedabad on Friday, Gujarat Congress media co-convener Hemang Raval, along with spokespersons Parthivraj Singh Kathwadia, Hiren Bankar and Nishant Raval said that under the program, the BJP is collecting soil from all over the country and from all the districts of Gujarat, but the soil of Manipur is being ignored. But Congress must not forget Manipur. The Manipur Pradesh Congress Committee sent soil from Manipur to Gujarat via courier. We have couriered this soil to BJP President C.R. Patil. We expect the Manipur soil to be accepted under Meri Mati Mera in Gujarat and sent to Delhi along with the soil from Gujarat, said the state Congress leaders. The soil will be used to create a unique garden, Amrit Vathika, in the vicinity of India Gate and National War Memorial. Meri Mati Mera is one of the biggest programs of the central government on national integration, which will culminate in the lawns of Kartavya Path in Delhi. On October 30, Nehru Yuva Kendra Sangathan volunteers and representatives of blocks and urban local bodies will put their share of earth in one giant urn, or Amrit Kalash, which reflects the spirit of Ek Bharat Shrestha Bharat, EBSB, said Govind Mohan, Secretary of Culture Ministry. Lack of officers is becoming a hindrance in the investigation of Manipur violence. One officer is monitoring 500 cases. 14 IPS officers and 6 inspectors have been sent from 6 states including Delhi to investigate the violence that took place in Manipur a few months ago. The 42 SITs formed there are investigating 3,000 cases, but the lack of officers is coming in the way of conducting the investigation in a better manner. Officials associated with the investigation say that according to this numerical strength, one inspector has the responsibility of monitoring 7 SITs, i.e. about 500 cases, which is not practical. After the investigation of Manipur violence was handed over to CBI, the central government has sent 14 IPS, DCP and SP rank, and 6 inspectors from Delhi, Maharashtra, Odisha, Jharkhand, Rajasthan and Madhya Pradesh to help in the investigation. These officers will monitor the SIT investigation. Maximum 3 IPS officers from Delhi, Harendra Kumar Singh, Shweta Chauhan and Isha Pandey have been selected for investigation. Officials say that an IPS officer can monitor 3 SITs, but an inspector may face difficulty in monitoring 7 SITs, because one inspector will be responsible for 500 cases. This can cause many types of problems. Churches and other religious places, houses, shops and offices were set on fire in the violence in Manipur. A large number of people were murdered, people were burnt alive, incidents of looting, rape and molestation took place. People were seriously injured. Cases related to this have been registered. 4 categories have been created for investigation. A police officer from Delhi says that there is a linguistic problem there. The situation is not completely normal. Both the communities are looking at each other as enemies. There is still an atmosphere of fear among the people. A large number of people are living in relief camps. The area is also not uniform, at some places it is plain and at other places it is hilly. For this the number of inspectors should be increased. It is noteworthy that on the instructions of the Supreme Court, officials from other states have been sent to investigate the Manipur violence. The status report related to the investigation is to be submitted to the Supreme Court on November 20. Narco-terrorism, politics, extremism, pillars of systematic violence against khakis in Manipur. Manipur is an important piece of history where Indian National Army of Subhash Chandra Bose hoisted flag in a place called Moirang. Several thousands of brave Indian warriors perished on this land which is now in turmoil. Although the state has been witnessing terrorism and feudal clashes for a long time, probably this is the first time that so much of tensions are observed in the hill state. Although it all started on 03 RD, May 2023, when a group of Kuki volunteers were protesting and burned a forest office triggering violence. Since then, the riots have been orchestrated in a well-organized manner where over 100 Kuki villages were burnt and over 200, as per few estimates, the number could be much higher as media and state administration could not reach far-flung hill areas, were killed mercilessly. Interestingly, while entire of the media and human rights activists are calling it a massacre of Meitei community by Kuki terrorists, the analysis reveals that while nearly 90% of all killed were Kukis, the percentage of displaced Kukis is over 80%, which reflects as to how fake narratives are built to suit the convenience of one particular group. The violence which is continuing even after 60 days was well planned. The perpetrators of these riots planned it for months and were waiting for a trigger to instigate violence. When we analyze the riots, there are 7 key pillars of it. Let us understand them one by one. Politicians and social leaders in Manipur. The dirty nexus between politicians and valley-based terrorists is well known. Since March 2023, when Armed Forces Special Powers Act, AFSPA, was revoked from Impal Valley, political voices were clearly indicating feudal turbulences which became prominent after the proposal to include Meitei community among tribes was promulgated. This factor was not only popularized by the political leaders but was projected in such a way that Kuki community took it as a threat to their very own existence, which culminated in the protests of 03 May 2023 and later turned violent. Not only this, but the political leadership of Manipur also remained biased towards their own community before and during the riots. When riots started, the ruling party removed all Kuki police personnel and administrative officers including DGP from active duties but did not take any step to stop officers of their own community from all the wrongdoing. This reflects their intention and planning to annihilate one social group from Manipur. Narco-terrorism and role of Kuki SOO groups. Although hill tribes like Kuki and Zo have been known to cultivate opium for last several decades, but it never made a headline in the public. Due to proximity of Golden Triangle and no means of livelihood for hill people, these communities often resort to such practices, but the real syndicate of this narco-terrorism is connected to certain valley-based elements and politicians. It is also one of the major sources of income for valley-based terrorist groups who have been waging war against India for last several decades. One of the roots of the current crisis lies in the control of narco-terrorism syndicate, where both Kuki SOO groups as well as valley-based terrorist groups want to have their control over this lucrative business. Extremist groups like Arambai Tengal and Meitei Lipun, two valley-based groups, are in the forefront of news nowadays. These are Arambai Tengal and Meitei Lipun. When sophisticated weapons were being looted from the headquarters of Manipur Rifles and India Reserve battalions, when Kuki villages were being burnt, when gun shops in Paona Bazaar were being ransacked, and when a large crowd gathered outside Chief Minister N. Biren Singh's house to stop him from resigning, the black shirt-clad people belonging to these two groups were visible everywhere and played a very big role in the ongoing violence. This was openly accepted by their leaders over the camera, who are portraying themselves as the savior of Meitei community and justifying all the violence carried out by them. Marapabis, or the womenfolk. If we talk of Manipur violence and do not talk about the Marapabis, the story remains incomplete. Over last several decades, they have been known to shelter the terrorists, harass the security forces and justify their anti-national activities in the garb of woman empowerment. All the officers of armed forces who served in Manipur, especially Meitei-dominated areas, will vouch for this fact. In the current violence also, it has been clearly seen that these so-called torch-bearers were escorting armed terrorists to the Kuki villages and stopping central security forces to intervene. They were the ones who forced Indian Army to release 12 hardcore terrorists involved in 2015 ambush on Indian Army convoy in Chundel district, and they were the ones who burnt alive a Meitei lady traveling in ambulance to treat her child just because she was married to a Kuki man. These torch-bearers who are burning the state mercilessly, in not only state administration, but central forces too, are silent before them. Unfortunate but true. Manipur police and state administration: if anyone tries to snatch weapons from a police person, he is authorized to fire. If anyone tries to loot the armory, police force guarding it shall be responsible to save it at all costs, but that did not happen in Manipur. A majority of the police force is from Meitei community, and they were openly seen standing with their community rather than the country. Over 4,000 sophisticated weapons looted from their armories were handed over smoothly to the rioters, and there was a clear biased approach visible in the actions of Manipur police. When they were told to stop Kuki mob, they fired mercilessly, and when they were told to stop Meitei mob, they left their position, allowing the rioters to wreak havoc. Not only this, but they were also actively seen escorting the rioters to the Kuki villages along with Marapabis. In Sugnu area, where over a dozen Kuki villages including Kongningphai Sabi, Langching, Kopijang, Singtam and T. Laloifai were completely burnt to ashes and several people were killed, it was Manipur police which along with Marapabis did not only dug the road but also clashed with Assam rifles to stop them from reaching the place of incident, and as a result, extremists had a free run for several hours. Similar incidents were reported in other areas including Kangpokpi, Commonlock and Bishanpur too. Valley-based terror groups and surrendered terrorists. Valley-based terrorist groups have been a major concern for India's sovereignty. In last 1 decade or so, security forces have effectively contained their imprints over the valley, and the state was slowly moving towards normalcy. Imagine the situation 2 decades back when these terror groups used to have liberated zones like Sajik Tampak, New Samtal, Lajang and Hingshur inside the territorial boundaries of Manipur, but those days have gone. The supply of weapons and explosives to these groups was effectively contained and their recruitments and activities are minimized, which resulted in removal of AFSPA from Impal Valley in March 2023. The present riots gave a lucrative opportunity to these groups. After they were gifted sophisticated weapons and communication devices from Arambai Tengal and Meitei Lipun, they projected themselves as savior of the Meitei community and led the attacks on Kuki villages. Since their recruitments are low, they also instigated their trained cadres who surrendered in the past to join their ranks. As per few reports, over 500 surrendered cadres have already joined these armed terrorist groups, and many are in the process of joining since there is abundance of weapons and warlike stores. If we take a rough estimate, over 1,500 armed terrorists are roaming in Manipur freely under escort of Marapabis, and Manipur police and government is silent. Manipur-based media and journalists, all the economic activities of Manipur are centralized in Impal Valley due to its connectivity, and as a result nearly all the major media houses are also located in Impal itself. Surprisingly, all of them are owned by influential people of Meitei community and not even a single by Kuki people. Soon after the riots broke out, these media houses started portraying Meitei community as a victim, whereas the situation was otherwise. The aggressive portrayal of news and events instigated common public which was otherwise silent to develop a hatred against Kuki community. Politicians and other leaders were quick to pick up their stories to instigate hatred. Not only this, when national media reached Impal, they took help of Maripabis and Manipur police to ensure that these correspondents could never reach the hill areas. A live example is Sugnu area, where over a dozen villages were turned into ashes on May 28, 2023, but not even a single media person visited there till date because they are not allowed to. The high-level drama where Manipur Chief Minister N. Biren Singh retracted his decision of resigning was nothing but a step to gain sympathy while the state is still burning. No politician of ruling party is ready to talk about those several thousands of sophisticated weapons which were looted, or the actions of Manipur police, or the incompetence of the government. Even central government is silent over it while innocent lives are being lost every day. Clashes happening every single day and fake narratives are being sold like hotcakes everywhere. It is high time that the leaders sitting in Delhi should take a call. News and picture. The Central Young Mizo Association, CYMA, elected new office bearers for the term 2023 to 2025 at its 74th General Conference held at the picturesque Bayat village, Zialung Run on October 26. The Young Mizo Association, YMA, is the largest and most comprehensive non-profit, secular and non-governmental organization of the Mizo people. It was registered as SR No. 4 of 1977 under Indian Societies Registration Act, XXI of 1860, on May 14, 1977 to the Government of Mizoram. The association is administered by a central committee, Central YMA, headquartered at Asval, and under which there are 5 sub-headquarters, 47 groups and 805 branches, which covers all of Mizoram and some parts of Assam, Manipur, Meghalaya, Nagaland and Tripura. The newly elected office bearers for CYMA's 2023 to 2025 term are as follows. President, Lal Makwana Vice President, Lalmat Loanga General Secretary, Malsum Liana Assistant General Secretary, Fabian Lalfakoma Treasurer, Roni Athanga Finance Secretary, MS Rolte. From Ignorance to Refutation, Mapping Communal Violence in India. One after another, Indian states are burning in the fire of communal violence while we sit in our homes, unaware that these flames can reach our doors at any time. While data highlights a decreasing trend in communal violence, the washed-away ash and walls of half-burnt houses convey a rather different image. For the past 5 months, the northeastern state of Manipur has been constantly burning in the flames of communal violence. According to the official data, the violence killed around 200 people and displaced more than 70,000 people. The northeastern state continued to burn while the majority of Indians were occupied watching the live telecast of the G20 summit. Not just Manipur, but numerous Indian states experienced communal clashes in 2023, with major incidents recorded during the Ram Navami festival. Nevertheless, according to data from the National Crime Records Bureau, NCRB, there has been a constant decline in violence in India. So, is there really a steady decline, or are we reading the graph upside down? According to the data by the NCRB, during 2014 to 2017, 3,508 incidents of communal violence were reported in the country, which claimed the lives of 75 people. However, according to the Ministry of Home Affairs, MHA, answers in the Lok Sabha, India saw 2,920 instances of intercommunal violence, which resulted in the deaths of 389 people. This significant discrepancy between the NCRB and MHA statistics is one of the main causes of skepticism about the decline in incidences of communal violence. The government claims that the primary cause of the data mismatch is the grouping of the data. NCRB gathers police-registered, FIR, incidents of communal violence from states, and numerous FIRs might be filed in the same occurrence, but MHA data is not dependent on FIR. This argument appears logical, yet the government's own data pulls it into doubt. NCRB data, according to this theory, should be greater than MHA figures. However, according to 2017 data, the NCRB documented 723 incidents and 16 deaths, whereas MHA data shows 823 cases and 111 deaths due to communal violence in India. Factly writes, for 2014, there was a discrepancy between the numbers reported by the NCRB and MHA for as many as 23 states/UTs. Strangely, in states such as Haryana, Jharkhand, Tamil Nadu, and West Bengal, the numbers reported by the NCRB were way higher than the ones reported by the MHA, whereas in states such as Karnataka, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Gujarat, and Uttar Pradesh, the MHA numbers were higher than those reported by the NCRB. This trend was repeated in 2015 and 2016, where the discrepancy was observed in as many as 24 and 25 states/UTs respectively. Another substantial reason to question the reliability of the data is that the NCRB does not collect disaggregated data on attacks against certain communities. This results in the formation of a hazy image of communal violence in India. According to data from the United Christian Forum, UCF, 525 attacks on Christians took place in India during the first 8 months of 2023. This data on attacks on only one community in 8 months outnumbers NCRB data on communal violence incidents in the year 2021. What's concerning here is not just the reliability of the data but also the government's refutation of communal violence in the country. Yogi Adityanath, the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh, stated that no riots occurred in the state between 2017 and 2021. However, according to NCRB data, there were 35,040 incidents of rioting between 2017 and 2021. In the last 2 to 3 years, there has been not only rebuttal but also systematic planned action against a specific community in the aftermath of communal conflicts. Since the 2020 Delhi riots, there has been a spike in false police charges against Muslims, as well as arbitrary demolitions of their properties. While the government and its statistics are busy establishing a decrease in communal violence, a report by the Pew Research Center graded India September 4, 10, first on the Social Holistics Index, SHI, 2020, worse than its own score of 2019. A high score indicates an increase in communal clashes. A recent report by the NCRB reveals a steady decline in the last 50 years. What's questionable is a sharp decline in cases during every NDA's regime and an increase in cases during the UPA's rule. Not only this, but reports from several international human rights organizations, IHRO, concerned with a decrease in religious freedom in the nation conflict with data indicating religious harmony and a decline in communal violence. While multiple IHRO reports labeled India an electoral autocracy and demoted it on the Democracy Index, the Indian government refuses to recognize or debate any of these reports. The growing religious hostility we witness around us raises the question, are we really heading towards communal harmony, or is this just a mirage? First published by DU Beat. KSO Education Desk. Institute of Banking Personnel Selection has activated the IBPS PO Main Exam Center Change link for Manipur candidates. The center change link is available to candidates on the official website of IBPS at ibps.in. The official notice reads, after carefully reviewing the situation in the state of Manipur, it has been decided to offer an option of center change to the candidates who have opted Impal, Manipur, a center for online main examination for recruitment for the posts of probationary officers/management trainees under CRP-PO/MT13. The center change option for such candidates will be available on the website from October 28 to November 1, 2023. On receipt of center change option from the willing candidates, they will be allocated to the venues of their chosen centers. The online main examination will be conducted in November 2023. A total of 225 marks questions will be asked. The exam time duration is for 3 hours 30 minutes. There will be penalty for wrong answers marks in the objective tests. A total of 0.25 marks will be deducted for every wrong answer. IBPS PO Mains Admit Card was released on October 26, 2023. The admit card will remain till November 5, 2023. For more related details, candidates can check the official website of IBPS.